So this time I'm going to create a project in Reaper and set up some send and return effects by sending from the tracks to a bus that has reverb on it and then returning that into the mix. So this one's going to be specifically for Reaper. So I have opened Reaper and I want to, before I do anything else, before I import any files in Reaper, you want to save this off into the folder that you're going to work out of. If you do this saving first, then you shouldn't run into any issues with missing files later on. So with Reaper, always save the project first. So I'm going to file, save project, and then it'll go out to my computer. Now I already made a shortcut to my project here, which is over here. So I'm just going to tag that. And I suggest you do that as well, because it's a good way of doing it. Then I'm going to name the project, and then I'm going to hit save. If you look down here, copy all media into project directory. If you tick that, it will always save anything you import into the project, including the reverb impulse responses. It will always save them into that folder. So it's worth checking that. So I hit save again. Now you can see it's named with the name of the file. So I'm just going to go get out here quickly, get my audio files. Select all and drag them into the Reaper project. Same time position on separate tracks is fine. Then they'll all just appear stacked up neatly, one on top of the other. And there we are. We have our files. Just shrink this down a bit. I want to put like files together, so I'm going to make some folders, which are the sub mixes in Reaper, you might remember. So if I hit Command T, it makes a new track. Let's move that up. Call this one drums. Then bump that over, and then bump it back. Make it a bit bigger. There. Now, I won't do all of them. I'll just do the vocals, I think. Just the ones that are more... So vocals. Yeah, there's no last track there because the last one was a backing vocal. So just tidy that up. Go into my mixer. We want one more track now because we want to create a track for reverb. So I'm going to insert a new track, and I actually don't want that in this subgroup. So let's get it out of there. It does not want to cooperate. Let's put it above. There. Okay, so it wouldn't go into that subgroup. So I don't want it in a subgroup. I want it just out on its own, returning into the mix. Reverb. Let's call it reverb. Now we'll just go into the mixer, which is Command M. Remember, I don't like stacked folders, so I'm going to get rid of that. We looked at that in another earlier video. So I don't want to show multiple rows of tracks. And I want to go to my reverb and insert the convolution reverb, reverb. And this is the one you want. Remember, you don't want to use reverb 8, you want to use reverb. Now, this is important. it always gives you dry, even if you're sending to it, but you don't want any dry, you only want wet. So we're going to take that down completely, because we already have dry coming from the channels back into the mix, so we do not need dry on the coming on back on the reverb track as well. It just confuses everything. Now I want to add an impulse response, and what you do is select File, and then I go out to my impulse responses. So we seem to be already in that folder, so that's good. I'm just going to select Scala Milan Opera Hall. It is too big for this track, but I think just for dramatic effect I'm going to add it in. You can see it populated there. Once again, you want only wet coming back, you don't want any dry. So that's it loaded. So now if we just send to it from the vocal group, so here's our vocal folder or vocal subgroup, and I go add new send, and then go all the way down to the bottom to reverb. You see why I labeled it with capital letters, so it's easy to find in this list. And then take that down and then hit play. You can hear the reverb effect there. You can hear that it's working. If you add it to the drums, you'll hear the same thing. Too much, of course. You just add it in until you like it. And don't forget to audition different impulse responses, because you might find the precise one that fits for your track or for the music that you're making. So just to finish off, if you're really worried about losing files in Reaper, you can always do a save as. So save project as, and make sure that copy all media is ticked, and then make a new folder. So and then give you, always remember to put your name on these. And create, and then if you save that in there, it'll actually copy everything in there. You can see this going through this whole copy process. Now I'll just go out to check this. If we go back out here, remember I have a shortcut to the folder. That's where the shortcut comes in really handy. And you can see now I've got this new folder I didn't have before called Joe Soap's Final Project folder. And if you look in there, you've got media. But inside media, you also have impulses, and there's that impulse I loaded, the Scala Milan Opera Hall. So by doing a save as and having that little box ticked, it has created a kind of bulletproof version of my project where all the files are there, any files used by the project are there, and there's no way that there's going to be a missing file when you hand the project over to somebody else. That's it. Thank you very much.